I'm getting married, but my boyfriend of 8 years still doesn't know. Because he recently hired a female secretary and has been too busy to notice. They hit it off instantly and got along great. To celebrate her birthday, he ordered a 10-layer cream cake. At the party, they smeared the cake everywhere, but he forgot that I'm severely allergic to cream. After being rushed to the hospital by ambulance and revived, when I opened my eyes, I had already agreed to the arranged marriage my family set up. My mom is incredibly efficient. When I returned from the hospital, I was about to scan my face to enter the house, and she sent me over 10 wedding plans to choose from. As my finger slid through the screen, my eyes paused on the last message. I've known all along that you and Ethan wouldn't last. Someone who truly wants to marry you wouldn't have dragged things on for 8 years. It's not too late to realize it now. The wedding plans have already been prepared for you. The wedding is in 3 days. You can take your time packing, no rush. So, everything seemed so clear to an outsider. But I had been trapped in Ethan's empty promises, unable to pull myself out. You can choose whatever you like. I like all of these. Just make the wedding simple. Ethan appeared behind me at some point. Upon hearing the word wedding, he exclaimed. Wedding? What wedding? He was about to peek at the screen, but I quickly put my phone away. He tried to reach for it, but just then, his phone rang. The night was too quiet, and I could even hear the panic in the woman's voice. Ethan, I just went downstairs to buy something, and I think I'm being followed. What should I do? I'm so scared. I've walked around the neighborhood, but I can't shake him off. Ethan's face immediately turned serious, his eyes filled with concern. Emma, go to a well-lit area, the security office should be staffed. Go there and wait, I'll be there soon. He hung up the phone, and the wedding plans were completely forgotten. Without hesitation, he abandoned me again and rushed into the night. I remained unfazed, my expression indifferent throughout. After he left, I called my aunt to say goodbye. 10 years ago, when my parents moved away for work, they entrusted me to my aunt. Ethan and I lived next door to each other, and that's how we met. Later, my aunt got married and moved, selling the villa. Not wanting to interfere with her married life, I temporarily moved in with Ethan. I never imagined it would last 8 years. When my aunt heard I was getting married, she was surprised and exclaimed. Married? With Ethan? Well, it's about time after 8 years. I pursed my lips and denied her guess. No, it's an arranged marriage. I don't know the other person. My aunt fell silent for a moment, then slowly asked. Have you thought it through? I really think Ethan likes you, but I don't know why he's never wanted to marry. Should I talk to him? I smiled indifferently. No need, it wasn't really a relationship anyway. We never officially got together, just stayed in that ambiguous zone for 8 years. If I don't end it now, I'll be out of time. My aunt didn't expect that after 8 years of living together, we hadn't even confirmed a formal romantic relationship. She gave up on trying to convince me and said she supported my decision. Before turning in for the night, I started a 3-day countdown. The next day, I had my mom buy some local specialties as a thank you gift for my aunt's care over the years, as well as a way to say goodbye. In the evening, a delivery truck finally arrived. I directed the driver to drop the items off at my aunt's house, but unexpectedly ran into Ethan downstairs. Emma's fragile figure was right behind him, both of them holding bags of everyday items they had just bought from the supermarket. They looked like a couple moving in together. My aunt happened to come down to meet me, and when she saw them, she wanted to ask, but I interrupted her. The things my mom bought for you are here. Be sure to check the expiration dates, don't let anything go bad. I didn't even look at Ethan once, but this time, he took the initiative to explain. Don't misunderstand, the old neighborhood wasn't safe, so I found her a new place. I didn't expect my aunt to live here as well. Why did you buy so many things? While directing the driver to take the items upstairs, I casually responded. You don't need to tell me about your work. My mom bought them. I don't know when she'll come next, so she bought a lot. Seeing that I wasn't misunderstanding them, Ethan let out a sigh of relief. It's fine, the northern suburbs aren't far. Just let me know if you want to visit, no need to worry. He still didn't know about my decision to leave, and I wasn't planning to tell him. My aunt wanted to speak, but seeing how Ethan was carefully protecting Emma, her face darkened. The four of us stood in an awkward silence until Emma suddenly exclaimed she was tired. At the sound of her voice, Ethan immediately told the driver to stop unloading. He said he didn't have much to carry, so he'd use the elevator first. Looking at all the bags of daily necessities in his hands, I stepped aside to let him through. Ethan's eyes flashed with surprise as he hurried into the elevator. When the doors closed, I couldn't help but see my own past reflected in Emma. Back when my aunt had just moved, Ethan had done the same, running errands for me, taking care of everything, and even moving all my luggage into his place with a bright smile, saying he was preparing for the future lady of the house. My aunt sighed beside me. Aren't you going to ask him? You've known him so long, if you break up over a misunderstanding, it would be such a shame. I shook my head. No need, there's no misunderstanding between us. He never lets misunderstandings linger overnight. If he doesn't explain, that's the answer. In fact, Ethan and Emma didn't buy that much, it could have all been moved in one trip. But by the time I finished saying goodbye and delivering the things to my aunt, I still didn't see his figure downstairs. Out of politeness to an old friend, I took out my phone and texted him, asking when he'd be back. He replied almost instantly with a voice message. When I opened it, it was Emma's sweet voice. Ethan's helping me fix the wiring in the house. It's never been lived in, so there's a lot to fix. You should head back first, I don't want to waste your time. Just as I was about to close the phone and grab a cab, another message came in. Don't overthink it, Ethan's just helping me. He thinks it's so pitiful that I'm living alone in such a big city. Thinking about my parents, who had long been separated and far away, I swallowed the words in my throat and closed the chat. As I sat in the car staring out the window, Ethan's call came through. Why are you so harsh on Emma? She's my subordinate, what's wrong with helping her find a place to stay? The company hasn't provided housing yet, so I'm just helping out, isn't that what I should do? Amelia, when did you become like this? At the birthday party, you were cold, saying you weren't feeling well and had to leave. I didn't even have a chance to confront you about that, and now you're throwing a fit? Through the phone, I could hear Emma's muffled sobs. Her act in front of me was nothing like the innocent, naive girl Ethan described. I let out a deep breath, finally realizing her intentions. But I couldn't be bothered to explain myself. It's fine, my fault. I was just asking. You carry on, I'm already back, didn't wait for you. His unfinished accusation was stopped short by my indifferent reply. I hung up, and the car pulled up just as we arrived at the neighborhood entrance. As I got out, Ethan's company workgroup notification started flooding my phone. I opened it to find 99 plus unread messages. At the top, there was a picture from Emma showing Ethan fixing the electrical wiring and plumbing. The messages below were full of envy and jealousy from his colleagues. I've never seen the boss like this. Didn't the cleaning lady say he has OCD? Doesn't seem like it. Wow, a man in a suit looks so handsome when he takes it off. The picture was posted by the future boss's wife. Wake up, working is your only way out. Before Ethan hired a secretary, I had been helping him for free, but later, he hired Emma to take over my work. However, I forgot to leave the group chat. After reading all the replies in the group, I deleted the chat history and exited. Now that I've made the decision to leave, seeing them interact as a married couple no longer feels as painful as it once would have. In a daze, I remembered that when I first graduated and joined the company, he used to post my daily work routine in the group. The photos he secretly took were either of me making coffee or writing out my schedule. Everyone in the company could tell that he had feelings for me. With love as his motivation, even work seemed sweet. The boring work group came to life because of his overwhelming affection. But all of this changed the moment Emma appeared. She took over all my duties. Ethan started banning any messages about me in the group. He openly and subtly favored his new secretary. A colleague who used to be on good terms with me only mentioned that Emma wasn't as competent as I was, and Ethan immediately docked her bonus for an entire year. In the end, I secretly transferred 50,000 yuan to her so she wouldn't quit out of anger. Returning to the home I had lived in for 8 years but never truly belonged to, I quickly packed up the things I was taking with me. My eyes fell on a thick album filled with photos from the past 10 years. I held it close to my chest and sat on the bed, flipping through the pages. Each photo inside represented a gift Ethan had given me. 8 years ago, he told me that after giving me 9,999 surprises, we would walk into the hall of marriage together. He wanted to bribe me with his sincerity, piece by piece, until I willingly became his wife. This custom-made album with 9,999 photos now only had one last blank page. I never thought it would end like this. I took the album downstairs to an empty spot, set it on fire with a lighter. I watched as the photos burned, turning into ashes. And with them went my 8 years of youth. When Ethan came back, this was what he saw, a scene that drained the color from his face. He rushed over and pushed me to the ground, trying to grab the album to save it. But the searing heat kept him away, his hand turning bright red within seconds. He was frantic, stomping on the album, watching the flames rapidly consume each photo. He yelled at me. "Why are you burning it? What the hell is wrong with you? You've destroyed everything we'd built." I struggled to get up from the floor, brushing the thick dust off my pajamas. The fire illuminated my face with a warm glow, but my voice was colder than ice. "It's nothing. I just opened it and saw some bugs crawling around, maybe cockroaches. I decided to burn it." He saw my movement and finally realized he had overreacted. He sighed deeply and said, "Are you okay?" "I'm sorry, I was too anxious earlier. We've spent 10 years collecting those photos. Didn't we agree to show them at our wedding? Why would you suddenly burn them? If there were bugs, you could have waited for me to come back or sent me a message. I would have figured something out." I didn't even want to look at him anymore. This man in front of me was no longer the one who had promised to protect me for a lifetime. "You haven't been home in a while, you must be busy with work. I didn't want to trouble you with something so small." He stood beside me, looking at the fire with regret in his eyes. It was almost too ironic. He had sacrificed our 10 years of love for another woman, and now he was playing the role of a tender lover? I turned to leave. But he thought I was just sulking, grabbing my arm and pulling me into his embrace. The sickly sweet smell of his perfume made me sneeze repeatedly. He didn't let go, but his voice softened with concern. "Are you coming down with a cold?" "I'm sorry, I've been too busy lately and neglected your feelings. How about this, when I'm done with work in a few days, I'll take you to reshoot the pictures. We'll make up for the ones you burned, 2 times as many." If I had heard this in the past, I might have lost my mind and forgiven him. But after being sent to the emergency room once, I no longer wanted anything to do with him. He could forget even my life-threatening allergens for another woman. How could I continue to deceive myself with this kind of love? Once he calmed down, I firmly pulled my arm out of his grasp. "You don't need to apologize. If you really feel sorry, how about making up for my birthday party?" Because of my allergy to cream, I had never been able to have a perfect birthday party. But since I was leaving the day after tomorrow, I wanted to experience a birthday with him involved for the last time. When he heard my simple request, panic flickered in his eyes, and unease slowly crept in. He nodded and was about to ask something, but his phone rang. Looking at the caller ID, he hurriedly explained. "There's something urgent at the company. I'll take care of it, and you don't need to wait for me tonight. I'll definitely make it up to you. Don't overthink it." While speaking, his steps were already hastily retreating. By the time he finished the sentence, he was already dozens of meters away. I knew it was Emma's special ringtone. But I didn't confront him with the lie. The next morning, the party planners arrived at the house. Emma showed up too, claiming she designed the plan and needed to supervise the setup. But after spending the entire day decorating, I realized this scene was nothing but a simplified version of her own birthday party. After sending the staff off in the evening, she walked up to me, her face full of challenge. "Well, everyone worked hard all day. What do you think? Does it befit your status?" I stared at the necklace around her neck, the one I had lost, and said coldly, "Second-hand goods. It's perfect for you. Keep it for yourself." As soon as I spoke, she glanced aside and suddenly grabbed a crystal ornament from the shelf, smashing it onto the floor. The shards cut her foot, and she cried out in pain, looking pitiful. Before I could react, Ethan slapped me across the face. "Have you had enough?" Emma kindly took time off to help you set up the party, and this is how you act? If you're not happy with it, then set it up yourself. He didn't give me a chance to explain, letting out all his frustration before picking up Emma and rushing out. I sat alone in the silent living room, watching the empty scene around me all night. By morning, not a single guest had shown up for the party. Then again, it seemed I only had Ethan as a friend in these 10 years. When the birthday cake arrived, I unwrapped it and cut myself a small piece. I stuck the smallest candle into it, closed my eyes, and made a wish. My wish was simple: never to see him again. Because of my allergy, I didn't end up eating the cake. When the countdown ended, and my phone buzzed with reminders, I grabbed my suitcase and left without looking back. On the way to the airport, I sent Ethan one last message. This is the end. We don't need to keep in touch. We didn't even break up, one simple sentence, and I said goodbye to 10 years of my youth. As I turned off my phone before boarding, his frantic calls flooded in. How long has it been since he last worried about me like this? 3 years? 5 years? Or maybe even longer. In my memory, the two of us were always inseparable, stuck together like glue. Our understanding of each other far surpassed that of anyone else in the world. Sometimes, we didn't even need words, just a glance, and he could understand exactly how I felt. Maybe it was my deep dependence on him that made him so certain I would never leave him in this lifetime. That I would never be able to leave him. So he took it for granted to hurt me, to blatantly shower another woman with attention. Completely forgetting that I, too, am human, with flesh and blood, and that I could feel sadness and pain. I glanced at the countless missed calls on the screen and blocked his number. When I was about to delete him from my social media, I noticed that he had changed his profile picture. The cartoon image I had drawn for him 8 years ago was gone, replaced by a real photo of him that was nothing like his usual style. At that moment, I remembered an old saying online. When a guy who never changes his profile picture suddenly does, it means there's another woman in his life. I froze, my fingers trembling as I pressed the delete button. 10 years of memories and chat history vanished in an instant, and my feelings came to a definitive end. As I looked at the message from my aunt reminding me to be safe, I replied, "Don't worry." After turning off my phone, I boarded the plane without a second glance. 3 hours. Not long, not short. Just enough for me to replay the past 10 years in my mind. When the plane landed, I wiped my face, which felt damp. I checked myself in the phone's reflection for any signs of crying, and after confirming I looked fine, I walked out of the airport. From a distance, I saw my parents waiting for me, arms full of gifts. My dad took my suitcase, and my mom placed a small crown on my head. With teary eyes, she said, "Our baby has grown so much. You're even more beautiful than in the photos. Finally, you're home. You can't leave us again." My dad looked at me with love, his every wrinkle filled with affection. "Don't worry, I've already picked out the perfect match for you. I'm sure you'll be happy. We live just a kilometer away. If you're ever unhappy, come home, and we'll take care of everything for you." I forced a smile, hugging my mom and resting my head on her shoulder. Over the 10 years we were apart, my parents had tried more than once to bring me back home. But I always rejected them with various excuses. I thought about returning during Chinese New Year, but Ethan said he wanted to take me to his family's place to celebrate. To experience their family atmosphere in advance. I happily thought he was committed to me, that he wanted to be with me forever. So, foolishly, I agreed. Every holiday reunion in these 10 years had been spent at his family's place. Now, facing my aging and weary parents, I couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of guilt. I nodded firmly. "Don't worry, I'm not a child anymore. I won't come running home just because I'm upset. Besides, when I get married, I'll be enjoying life. I trust Dad's judgment." Seeing that I didn't resist the marriage, my parents visibly relaxed. Good, good. We were worried you and that boy, never mind, we won't talk about it. Has everything been taken care of with Ethan? If there's anything left, we'll let your aunt handle it. You can't be running around now that you're getting married. Mentioning Ethan, my pupils flickered slightly. Yeah, it's all handled. Aunt asked me to send her regards to you. She said she'll join the wedding tonight after she finishes her work. After that, my parents led me to the car to go home. Just then, an unexpected ringtone sounded. I glanced at the caller ID. It was someone I didn't recognize, but the number was familiar. When I answered, Ethan's voice came through, thick with restrained anger. "Who gave you the nerve to block me? Where did you go? Where are you now? You've heard Emma like this, and you have nothing to say? You didn't even clean up the party at home, and now you're gone. I'm giving you an hour to apologize to Emma at the hospital. Otherwise, I'll really get angry this time." Before I could speak, I heard Emma's soft voice. "I'm fine. It's just some minor scratches. Don't blame Amelia, it wasn't on purpose. Maybe she didn't like the setup. I saw her staring at the scene at my party, thinking she would like it, but it was my mistake." The call was abruptly ended, and I knew without thinking that he was busy calming Emma down. A sick feeling churned in my stomach, almost rising to my throat. My mom noticed my pale face and, worried, asked, "Sweetheart, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Should I get you some medicine?" I pressed my lips together and shook my head. "I'm fine. It's just a prank call. Let's go home." "What about the wedding? Should we go try on the wedding dress on the way? They only took your measurements, and I'm worried it might not fit tomorrow." My mom thought for a second, then told Dad to turn the car around and head to the bridal shop. "You always think ahead. But those dresses are custom made by experts, so if your measurements are right, it should fit. Still, it wouldn't hurt to try it on and let me see how beautiful my baby looks as a bride." Seeing the eager light in her eyes, I didn't respond. The traffic was terrible in the city, and it took over an hour to reach the store. With the help of the staff, it took another hour before I was in the wedding dress. Looking at myself in the mirror, familiar yet strange, I couldn't hold back the tears. This dress is so beautiful. Just like the one I had dreamed about. Too bad the groom was someone else. Mom excitedly picked up her phone and began taking pictures, trying to capture every beautiful moment. Before I could stop her, she had already posted the photos online. "Look at how beautiful you are. You look like a model. I'll send this to everyone and let them be jealous." I felt helpless, but couldn't refuse. She even set one of the pictures as her phone wallpaper, as her profile picture, and used it wherever she could. The maternal love that had built up over 10 years exploded at that moment, leaving me at a loss, unable to say no. After taking off the dress, Dad hesitated and said, "How about meeting Jaden? After all, the wedding is tomorrow, and you've never met him. It might be awkward." I hesitated for a moment but declined his suggestion. "No, it's fine. I trust Dad's judgment." Mom noticed my low mood and subtly signaled Dad to stop bringing it up. Once in the car, my aunt suddenly called. "Have you told Ethan you're back yet? Why does he seem so calm about it? He was just helping that bitch upstairs." I ran into him by the elevator, and I almost lunged at her to tear her face off. No wonder he hadn't contacted me all afternoon, he was busy taking Emma home. I lowered my gaze, hiding the emotions in my eyes. "I haven't. I just told him we broke up, but there was never a formal confession. He's just a friend. There was no need to tell him I'm getting married." Aunt sighed on the other end of the line. "All right. I don't understand young people these days. I booked a flight for early morning, so I should make it to the wedding." "Thanks, Aunt. Please be safe." After the call ended, Mom was fuming beside me. "All these years and he couldn't even give you a proper confession? And you wasted 10 years of your life for someone like that? I should have urged you to come back sooner. What a jerk. You always defended him, and I really thought you were happy. How dare he treat my daughter this way?" I gently patted her hand to calm her down. "I never lied to you. I was happy at the time. Before Emma appeared, everything was perfect. We were on the verge of happiness, and now, how did it all go so wrong?" I forced myself to hold back the soreness in my nose as I stared out the car window. The unfamiliar city allowed me to finally relax a little. It felt like, by returning here, everything in my life could start anew from this very moment. But as soon as I got home and finished washing up, Mom angrily threw her phone onto the sofa. "Who reported the photo I posted? What's wrong with me sharing my daughter's wedding pictures? Why are people so full of hostility online these days? Can't they stand to see others living well?" Dad adjusted his glasses, his brows furrowing. Reported? What's the reason? Was it successful? This doesn't make sense. I'll call the company's manager and ask about it. Suddenly, I remembered something and quickly stepped forward to stop Dad from making the call. I picked up Mom's phone from the sofa and glanced at it. Sure enough, it was Ethan's ID. The next moment, my phone started ringing. To avoid worrying my parents, I put on a blank face and went to my bedroom to answer the call. What were you doing at the bridal shop? Who told you to wear the wedding dress? Who were you with? By yourself? I told you to come home, didn't you hear me? I've been waiting for you at home for so long. Don't test my patience. I took a deep breath to calm myself. Ethan, do you think you're a king? I'm an adult, I make my own decisions. When I said we're over, it's you who didn't get it. What does it matter to you if I'm trying on wedding dresses? If you keep harassing me, don't blame me for calling the cops. And by the way, that was never my home. That's your home. Before he could respond, I hung up the phone. I blocked the new number he had been using. Lying in the bedroom that my parents had carefully prepared, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. At 4 a.m., my aunt sent me a message. How did Ethan find my house? What did you tell him? He didn't look right today, kept asking where you were, and then knelt at my door, saying he wouldn't get up no matter what. I rubbed my tired eyes and replied. I've already explained everything. Maybe he's just losing it. He can't handle someone who used to chase him suddenly disappearing. His pride probably can't take it. You didn't tell him where I am, right? Am I that stupid? Of course not. I'm on my way to the airport now, looking forward to your wedding. But do weddings really start this early? Why are you awake already? I didn't reply further and turned off my phone. Tears couldn't help but fill my eyes, blurring my vision. With just an hour left before I had to get up, I finally drifted into a shallow sleep. But even in my dreams, I couldn't find peace. Ethan's voice echoed in my ears. You can't leave me, I won't allow it. Who told you to get married? You can only be with me. I know I was wrong before, but please give me another chance. Please forgive me. Tears soaked my cheeks, my whole body shaking as I cried. It wasn't until Mom called out to me that I snapped out of the nightmare. What happened? What did you dream about? Why are you crying like this? Are you not going to get married? If you don't want to get married, then don't. I'll go talk to them, don't force yourself. I quickly grabbed Mom's hand. No, I just had a nightmare. I'm fine. After a quick wash up, I was about to start getting ready when my phone rang. It was Emma calling, with the last digits of her number. She was probably calling to gloat. She was the winner, and I was the deserter. I didn't answer and coldly pressed end. She sent several more messages in a row. I'm sorry, it's all my fault, please forgive me. It was all my mistake. Can you talk to Ethan and ask him not to fire me? I have elderly parents to support, I really can't lose this job. The rent for this apartment is all on me, and I can't afford it alone. I've drained all my savings, I can't keep going. I admit I had some feelings for Ethan before, but we never did anything. I swear on my life. He stopped answering my calls and deleted my contacts. I have no choice but to ask you for help. Company employees say Ethan listens to you more than anyone else. Mom walked in with breakfast, and when she saw me staring at my phone, she asked. What's wrong? Is something going on? I shook my head and didn't reply to Emma's messages. I didn't believe a word she said, and I didn't want to be involved with the past anymore. Once the wedding was over, I'd change my number. After all, I didn't have many friends, so changing it wouldn't affect me much, but would save me a lot of trouble. I had just taken a bite of breakfast when the doorbell rang. Mom mumbled as she went to answer the door, Who is it this early? Didn't Jaden just message saying he hasn't left yet? Soon, she came back holding a cup of coffee. Who ordered takeout? She took a closer look at the name on the note. Princess Amelia. Oh. It's yours, your coffee's here. Mom will put it here. You should drink less of this kind of thing. If you want, I can have Aunt make you fresh. Mom placed the coffee in front of me and left the room. My heart started racing, and my nails dug into my palms. I hadn't ordered any takeout today, and my name would never be written on my own order. Princess Amelia. That was a name Ethan used when he tried to cheer me up by ordering food. But it had been a long time since he used it. He knew I was home? How did he know my address? I didn't dare to think further. I picked up the coffee cup and took a closer look, and my suspicion was confirmed. The taste was exactly what I loved. Tears filled my eyes. The makeup artist was startled and quickly grabbed a tissue to wipe my tears. Don't cry, the base makeup will smudge. Mom rushed over when she heard, flustered as she tried to comfort me. Why are you crying? Don't want to get married? If you really don't want to, I'll tell them. Don't force yourself. I didn't want to worry my family, so I forced myself to control my emotions. My chest still felt tight, but I let the makeup artist continue. Mom, don't worry. I'm just reluctant to leave you and Dad. I'm fine. Mom finally relaxed when she saw I was okay. You scared me to death. Don't worry, I've already spoken to his family. After the wedding, you'll come back home to stay, take it slow, and wait for your feelings to stabilize before living together. She didn't feel comfortable leaving me alone with the makeup artist, so she stayed with me. Until the makeup was done. Until Jaden arrived to take me to the wedding. This was the first time I saw him, yet he felt strangely familiar. He had the demeanor of a true gentleman, completely different from the spoiled rich kid I had imagined. As expected, Dad's judgment was much better than mine. We didn't exchange a word the entire way. When we arrived at the hotel, he got out of the car and, in front of everyone, carried me inside. I was so startled that I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck. The subtle smile at the corner of his lips caught my eye, and my heartbeat quickened involuntarily. Soon, it was time for the wedding to begin. My aunt rushed in just before it started, giving me a tight hug. I don't know what happened, but today the taxi was acting strange. It took me in circles before I finally arrived. I didn't think much of it and assumed the driver was trying to avoid traffic. I had her sit down to rest and went up to the stage myself. But ever since I entered the venue, a feeling of unease had filled my heart. When the ceremony reached the point of exchanging rings, a man's furious shout suddenly came from outside the door. Stop. I don't agree. The next moment, Ethan's tall figure appeared in front of everyone. Mom and Dad's faces immediately darkened, and they quickly called security to escort him out. But for some reason, today Ethan, who usually cared so much about his pride, actually got into a physical fight with the security guards. One person took down an entire crowd. He quickly made his way to the front, striding with determination. He reached out his hand to me. Amelia, you can't marry him, you can only be my bride. I know I was wrong before, I admit all my mistakes. Please, give me a chance, please. I'll be there for your birthday from now on, I'll buy you a cake whenever you want. I remember you're allergic to cream, after you make your wish, I'll eat the cake for you, okay? Just come with me, if you come with me today, I'll agree to anything you want. Listening to his desperate, pleading words that sounded just like my dream, my heart didn't stir in the slightest. Seeing that I didn't respond, Jaden stepped in front of me, blocking Ethan's gaze. Then he turned to the side and gave orders to the bodyguards to remove the person from the wedding venue. The bodyguards from the Gu family were far more skilled than the hotel security, and within moments, they dragged Ethan out. I watched coldly, seeing him fall apart like never before. Once he was completely out of sight, I turned without hesitation and exchanged the rings. The little interruption at the wedding was quickly brushed off amidst the host's light-hearted jokes. When the ceremony ended and after the socializing with family and friends, Jaden finally reminded me to deal with Ethan. Looking at the calm and composed man in front of me, I nodded and lifted my dress to leave the hotel. Ethan was sitting by the roadside, his face covered in blood. The moment he saw me, he gritted his teeth and rushed toward me. He knelt straight down before me. Amelia, please listen to me. I was a jerk before, but I've realized what I did wrong. Please, give me a chance to make it up to you. I brought you the necklace that Emma stole from you, look. Saying this, he opened his palm, revealing the necklace. But by the time he'd changed his mind, the gift had lost all meaning. Whoever had it didn't matter anymore. Anything Emma wore, anyone she loved, all of it disgusted me. Seeing I didn't respond, Ethan panicked. I really know I was wrong. After you left, I watched the security footage at home. That day, you didn't lay a hand on her, it was all a setup by her. I didn't trust you, and I was fooled by her. It's all my fault. You can blame me, but please give me a chance to make up for it. We've known each other for 10 years, we grew up together, and we agreed we'd walk into the hall of marriage. Have you forgotten that? Hearing those words, I nodded slowly. I saw his eyes dim immediately. I coldly replied. Right, let's say I've forgotten, is that enough? That I was the one who changed my mind? You can think whatever you want. As you can see, I'm already married. I told you, we're done. There's no need for us to stay in contact anymore. Before he could respond, he hurriedly pulled out a photo album from his chest. It contained 9,998 carefully printed photos, as if a smaller version of the one I had burned. Without waiting for him to speak, I snatched it from his hands and threw it into the distant lake. He was startled, then quickly reacted, jumping into the lake to retrieve it. But the album had already vanished without a trace. Just like our relationship, it was beyond saving. Watching him climb out of the lake, soaked and disheveled, I said the final words, expressionless. Ethan, we were never officially together, but today, I've given you a proper goodbye. Stop this. Don't make me hate you. The last 10 years, let them stay in the past. Don't ruin the last bit of good memories I have of you. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. End of the story.